Hi and welcome to Outwell and to our Kensington 4 from the Regency collection. This is a spacious tunnel design tent with 3 rooms. Got 2 bedrooms across the back which can sleep up to 4 people. For me, a really nice feature on this tent is the extended porch area here. Now, this can be used either for kitchen storage or even pop a couple of chairs in here. You've got large windows all the way around, so you're going to get nice views out of these windows. You find the door, obviously we've rolled it away at the moment, but it's a good size to be able to get all of your kit in and out of the tent quite easily. And you'll also find that there's a separate mesh door here as well, just to drop down on those nicer days if there's a lot of bugs around. Obviously you can keep them out with that. Coming through then, we then have this dividing wall, which has got large mesh ventilation panels on there again, so if that front door is open, then you're going to get lots of sort of through flow of air. You can see just at the top there is a zip, so the whole thing can be opened up completely to create sort of one large open space, or obviously it can be fully closed over and sealed, separating that sort of extended porch area from the living area at the back. There is a curtain on that as well there, so if you do want a little bit more privacy, you can just roll that up. Certainly space-wise, there's plenty of it. I'm quite tall at about 1.95 m, and you can see I've got plenty of head height here. Also, there's lots of large windows all the way around the tent, and I think that really floods it with light and makes it feel very spacious. Each of the windows has got its own curtain, so if you do want a little bit more privacy, we can simply just take them out from the bottom here and either have them halfway up, or obviously they can be fully closed as well. Running along the length of the side of the tent here, you've got some good ventilation panels, again just on those warmer days to give you that little bit more sort of fresh air into the tent. At the top, in a good central location, you'll find that we have this lantern hanging point here. And then leading down away from that, you've got some cable tidies if you had an electric lantern, and you'll find that these actually lead to where the ground sheet zips in, so that we can bring cables in through here rather than through any of the doors on the tent, so you can again keep them closed when you need to. At the back of the tent is where you'll find the bedrooms, and as I mentioned earlier on, the tent sleeps up to 4 people. You'll find that how they're attached to the tent is using our wave-shaped hanging point system here. Quite a nice finish to it with the colour coordination with the tone of the tent, but also it has a function too of taking any of the stress away from that top seam on the bedroom itself. Some other features to highlight: you'll see that on the doors themselves we have large full mesh doors here, again for great ventilation within the bedroom. We also have some storage pockets on the outside too. It's worth just highlighting on these doors there are curtains behind here if you do want that little bit extra privacy. And then in the bedrooms themselves, you'll find we've got some good features here too, with large ventilation panels across the back, corresponding to outside panels on the fly sheet. We also have some smaller storage pockets just down on the side here. You can see, ideal for smaller personal possessions. And then separating the 2 bedrooms, you have this full sheet of material which can be fully closed over, or obviously you can zip that open as well to create one large bedroom across the back as well. Another nice feature here is the use of our universal inners, and we'll just show you now how that works. So on the side of the tent we do have another entrance just here, and again you'll find that this one also has a full mesh door, so you can roll up the outside fly sheet door and then drop this down, again giving great ventilation and keeping out those insects. The ground sheet for the area, I mentioned earlier on that it's a zipped ground sheet, and in this particular area it zips all the way around all 4 sides. It does come up at the edges as well, so it's a bathtub style ground sheet, so you're not going to get drafts. You're hopefully going to keep out things like dust and dirt, and more importantly, hopefully those creepy crawlies won't get in either. The material itself is a really good quality, heavy duty material. It's actually a polyethylene, so it's built to last. Very waterproof with a hydrostatic head here of 10,000 millimetres. And what you'll find is between the 2 areas of the tent is that the back ground sheet here, you can just see, can either be laying flat just to create a sort of full opening, or it can be brought up and zipped to this dividing wall as well. The ground sheet at the front is actually exactly the same material as what's in the back, but the difference here is that it all toggles in and it has Velcro tabs to keep it in place as well. So nice and versatile. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, but certainly gives you a nice waterproof base when it's there. Now what we'll do is we'll just pop outside and show you some of the details on the outside. If we start with the fly sheet that we use on this particular tent, this is our Outex AirTech. So this is actually a polycoton material, and this version is 65% polyester and 35% of this is cotton. So what that's going to do is it's going to provide you with a long-lasting, durable fly sheet that actually has some nice properties to it as well, whereby if it's a hotter day it'll actually keep you a little bit cooler inside, but when it's a little bit colder outside it'll also keep you a bit warmer. So what you will find is you could say that you almost have climate control within the tent because it will react to that environment no matter what it is. It's naturally waterproof, but we do put a coating on here to make sure that if it's kind of light and drizzly rain, that it'll just bead away off of the tent. So then the frame that we use on here is a full steel frame from front to back, so that gives you a real solid and stable structure with the use of these tubular steel poles. We do colour code them as well, so that means that when you're pitching it, it should be nice and simple for you to know that you're getting the right pole in the right place. That front extended porch area that we talked about actually is made using this Duratec fiberglass pole at the front here, which just actually attaches directly onto the front steel pole. So it gives you really good head height for the floor space given within the tent as well. Other features I'll just highlight here. We have the ventilation panel that I mentioned before from the inside, so you can see that mesh panel there. If it gets a little bit chilly, we can simply take this away just by popping down the Velcro tabs and pushing this down to hold it in place. Large windows that we mentioned from the inside again, I just want to highlight from the outside that these are actually tinted windows, so you get really good privacy from within the tent, but also it does reduce the glare from the sun as well, keeping you a little bit more comfortable. Next, I'd like to highlight to you our wind stabilizer system that we're using on this tent and show you just how that works. All we have to do when we're pitching the tent is just simply take these tabs here, wrap them around the pole like this, use this Velcro tab to secure them, and what you'll find is that there's one at the top and at the bottom of every pole around the side of the tent here. And this is where you'll find our guy lines attached to, so when we pull these guy lines out and peg them out, what it does is it pulls the entire fly sheet of the tent against the frame, making it much more taut and making it much more stable even in high wind conditions. The guy lines themselves are floating guy lines, and what we're meaning by that is at the bottom section you'll find our classic luminous guy lines here, just to stop you from tripping over them if it gets a little bit too dark. At the top you then have the toned guy lines which tie in with the colours of the tent. Each of these guy lines has its own retainer, so when it comes to packing down the tent, we can simply wrap up the guy lines in our hands and pop them into here, so that the next time we come to use them, we haven't got a big sort of mess or bird's nest of guy lines that we have to untie. Another feature that I just want to point out is our easy pegging system that comes with the tent. So this is where we supply you with 3 different styles of pegs. You have the solid steel pegs here for the anchor points or the corners of the tent. You then have the luminous peg here for all of the luminous guy lines around the tent, and you also have the black plastic peg here for all of the black pegging points around the side. So it's in the name really, easy pegging system makes it easy for you to get the right peg in the right place. Just around the front of the tent we have the mud valances on the porch area, so that's just going to encourage any rainwater to run down and away from the inside of the tent itself. So finally, we have a couple of optional extras available for the tent here, including a footprint that will go under the ground sheet, and there's also a carpet available for the living space, which you've already seen, which will just give you that little bit more touch of luxury within there. So that's all the features of our Kensington 4 from the Regency collection. Thank you very much for watching.